All right, all right. We are back at the Grit Won't Quit podcast studio. We're doing this one virtually today, but we have a very special guest on. We have Ben. Ben, thanks for coming on to Grit Won't Quit today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You got it. So let's kind of go jump right into your story. You've done business for 45 years. You have been involved with over 60 businesses. So let's just kind of stop there. Someone that's been owned and operated over 60 businesses in their lifetime, that's a serial entrepreneur. So let's kind of talk about that. What you've done, what made you get into 60 different businesses over the years, what you liked, what you didn't like, and start from there.
All right. Well, I started out in the restaurant business and grew that. I had a total of 51 restaurants over the past 45 years. Um, Mainly quick service. I had some full size restaurant bars, but the majority was full service. I had 10 Papa John's, and I also franchised one of my concepts called Yummy Yogurt back in the early 80s. And
Was
put
that
all
frozen
together.
yogurt?
Pardon me?
Was that frozen yogurt?
Yeah, but we had health foods and sandwiches, salads. We had a full menu. We started out with just yogurt. We learned quickly that you needed a lot more to make any money at it. Um, After that, I had a real estate brokerage firm, which we represented a lot of restaurants and site selections. We also did franchise sales for franchise companies, a lot of national companies. Then I was always in the restaurant business. I had
Hmm.
multiple businesses at the same time. I manufactured and distributed a beer called Redneck Premium Beer back in the '90s, and that was a lot of fun. I also had coin machines in supermarkets that counted coins, like Coinstar, who actually bought me out after a couple of years. And after I sold my last restaurant, people came to me to help them market their restaurants because they knew I knew how to do it. And one thing led to another. And now we're just a full-fledged, full-service marketing firm, ZivZo,
How do you like that?
ZivZo. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. It's different from working 7 days a week in morning, noon, and nights in restaurants, but it's a lot more um, creative for me, and that was always one of my strong points.
Hmm. So now with ZivZo, are you primarily taking on those restaurant clients, or are you also hitting the gamut with other verticals?
We have, based on my background, I have a lot of history in restaurants, so it's easy for me to talk to a restaurateur to understand. I've been on both sides of the table, but our client base is pretty diverse, from, for example, porta potty company to heart and lung transplant surgeons. So we handle the full gamut of clients, all sorts of business, profit, nonprofit, and we have clients throughout the country.
That's great. And now, from the restaurant world, restaurants are a tough game. I think that I don't know that everybody understands that. I think that, it's a hard business to be in. So you kind of learn a lot real quick on how to operate.
Yes, it's either swim or sink or swim in that business.
And I
But
feel like a lot of people that become franchisees, they go to that restaurant space, that fast casual type place, or the Papa John's and those kind of franchises. But I wonder though, like, and maybe you could tell from your experience being on the other side, is do people realize how hard it is to run a successful restaurant?
well, you have to be in it to win it, and you can't run an absentee typically unless it's to a
Hmm.
huge volume and you can afford decent management. But when you buy a franchise, you're basically a partner with the franchisor based on their fees. Usually, they're looking for 5%, 2% marketing fees. So you're in it for 7 or 8% off the top, which is typically 40 to 50% of the net profit of a good restaurant. So you're really giving half of it away to the franchisor. And in some cases it's worth it, in others it's not. Some concepts you can duplicate and not have to pay half your profits to a franchisor. So, but on the other side, some of these franchises are very successful and they make a lot of money. So there's opportunities on both sides to do it yourself or to buy into a franchise organization.
If you had to give a suggestion to the average person, not knowing all this, their points, would you think that a franchise is a good investment for most entrepreneurs looking to own their own business?
Well, it depends on the franchise. I was a franchisor and I was a franchisee of Papa John's. And I actually bought the entire Washington, D.C. area in the early 90s, which had a total of 10 Papa John's. So the deal I made with Papa John's was that they had a lousy operator, so they wanted to get rid of them. I came in and bought the territory. And part of the deal was Papa John's had the right to exercise an option to buy me out. So I did too good of a job and they bought me out.
Uh-huh.
Right? And today I'd rather have the whole territory of Washington, D.C. For all the Papa John's. There's probably a
Sure.
few hundred of them now. So,
Wow.
but back to your question, is it better to be a franchisor or an independent, or I'm sorry, a franchisee or an independent operator? It all depends. I mean, I can't give you a good answer on that. Every situation is different.
Sure. I didn't know if there was a one way that you swayed on that. Um, and now with some of the other businesses like this porta potty, like how did you get involved with something that's so different than what you know?
I met an owner of a porta potty company at a trade show, and they engaged us initially to do which we call a video brochure, which is like a video book that when you open it plays a video, and it's a great sales tool. And we sell a lot of video
Uh huh.
brochures. In fact, I use them myself for my own company to market. Um, and then we shot video for him and created a video brochure. Then we ended up doing all of his marketing, and
Mm-hmm.
he skyrocketed. And then he sold the business to a larger conglomerate. And we handle a lot of different other porta potty companies now. But advertising is advertising. You look at the business, and the more we know about anyone's business, the more we can help them. And we look at the market. We know where to find out where his pressure points are, where his clients are, who they are, how to get to them, and then we implement a program that returns, a return on their investment, on their ad investment, anywhere from 10 to 20%. So, or 20 times their spend. So if somebody spends, for example, $1,000 on advertising, we can drive, $10,000 to $20,000, in revenues off of that $1,000 spend, so that we actually pay for ourselves in
Sure.
return on the investment. That's the key to the show. Because you do advertising. If you don't give your clients a return on their investment, you're getting fired.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's that simple. So
It's just a
it's
matter
either
of time.
right, you perform, or you do it right, or you're out the door. It's that
Yep.
simple. But we've been very fortunate. We have a good team, and we know how to get to the end zone, and at a price point that makes sense for most clients.
Yep. Now, what is there a tactic that is your go to tactic where you find you're getting the best return on your dollars?
Well, every business is different. I mean, a business that your typical marketing is Google, Facebook, Instagram, all the big platforms, TikTok. But video is king right now, and 80% of the advertising on the internet that's successful is video. And why is that? Why is video so powerful? And the answer is because your brain works differently than you when you read. Um, Against when you watch a video. When you watch a video, you're going to retain up to 90% of the information in a video. Same information, if you read it, you're only going to retain 18 to 22%. So, it's like having a little kid, putting him in front of a TV. I mean, the house can burn down, but that kid's focused on that TV and he's not moving because
Yeah.
the brain works differently when there's audio and visual, audio and audiovisual at the same time, your brain has a different function and it focuses better. So, so the advertising today, if you're not doing video, you're behind the eight ball.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more on. I think that everybody should be utilizing video because, and again, the results are, we see that in all of our work ourselves is the work
Right.
that, the results are better.
And you should have a video on your landing page, on your home page of your website. It's a key item because your website is your digital sign. It's like having a sign on a brick and mortar. So if your website is set properly, uh, and you have a video above the fold, the first thing people are going to do is come to your website and click on that video. And in that video, you should have, with the corporate entities, the CEO or the owner of the business talking a little bit, some introduction to the business and outlining what the business does. In addition to that, you should always have testimonials because that sells your products and services better than anything.
Great. I couldn't agree with you more. And sounds like we preach the same thing to our clients. What do you do? Like we have some clients, and maybe you have some thoughts on this. We have some clients that don't want to be on video. What do you do there when your clients don't want to be on video?
Never had a client not want to be on video.
Really?
Well, you show them the numbers.
Yeah.
If they don't see the value of video, I think that might not be I think that's a problematic client to have.
Yeah, that's fair. I have some people that just are like, I don't want to be the main guy, and
Oh, okay. You're saying being the main guy. Well, you can hire somebody. You can hire an actor.
yeah,
You can hire or have one of your employees with a personality do the speaking. But the overall concept of having video of your company you still need. If you don't want to, if you're an owner and you don't want to do it, that's a separate issue. You can
yeah.
always find somebody to speak on your behalf,
I
right?
um I personally think it has to be the owner in a lot of cases. Again, for the clients that we deal with small and medium sized businesses. We're not dealing with the Fortune 500s, but we're dealing with the small. And I think that it gives personality. It shows them who they are. And in a world of everybody a lack of trust, I think that shows integrity. It shows
I'm with you 100%, but you're going to find some people that just don't want to do it,
yeah.
right? They may have a foreign accent, they may stutter. Whatever reason, they don't, you can't convince them. So you go to plan B is you get somebody in the company as the spokesperson or
Yeah.
your
And as you do more and more video, you get better at it. I remember 3 years ago, Andrew saying to me, "Hey, we got to do some more video." And now, it goes faster. It sounds better. It looks
right.
better because as you keep doing it, you get more comfortable and more
Well,
familiar. And
you can always use a teleprompter, right?
now
And
Andrew doesn't let me use a teleprompter. He says I read too much off of it.
but the
So
funny thing is, if you once you start doing video and standing in front of a camera and actually doing it, you're going to gain so much respect for these guys on TV that
yeah,
are doing the news because they're unbelievable. Because as outspoken or as you may think you are, or you have a good personality, and once you get in front of that camera, it changes. And if you have to read the text of a teleprompter and watch these guys on TV and see how they do it, it's unbelievable. They're like talking to you like they're not reading, but they really are. It's
I
really a
know that's wild.
yeah, it's really a talent to be able to do that.
Totally. I agree with you 100% because again, just having a casual conversation, it's easy, but the second you go on the camera, it changes a little bit. And then knowing all that information, I did a shout out video the other day for a client and I remembered this and that. And but you got to remember it and and it's got to make sense when it comes out. Again,
Right,
not be, again, I was a business school guy to, own a business, not to become the video guy. But
right. I hear you. For most people, it's not easy.
yeah, so it's it's really something that's happening and going to continue to happen. And when you're looking at, for yourself, when you're looking at that return on ad spend, are you guys analyzing different A/B testing to look at and
Yeah, you have to. You have
understand
to.
for your clients like
Of
how they're
course,
generating?
you have to. I mean, we look at everything. We have a monthly report we send our clients that gives you a breakdown of all the information, how many clicks, what platform got the clicks,
Sure.
how many conversions. So, and we show them the actual click cost at the end of the month based on all the different platforms we're using, which include, all the social media, SMS, text marketing, email marketing, how many people go to your landing pages, how many people click on your ads. So we provide everything. So you can see everything. And we always make sure that the client understands, the value of every click. And it's important for them to understand in order for you to do your job as an advertising agency properly.
Yeah, agree. Um, and what do you think is going to be the best tactic going into the rest of this year and into 27 for clients?
For clients, I don't know. I mean, it's interesting because one business may not do well in a certain economy and others do. So, again, it's all subject to what business you're in and the economic situation in the country or your neighborhood or your state or whatever that is all plays into it. So, it varies from one business to another.
Funny, I was interviewed on a podcast last night for small businesses in New Jersey, and they asked me that question, and I replied the exact same way. That's why I threw the question to you today because again, they and I gave the example of X, Y, and Z, and this and that. So I gave this, very, very similar answer to your answer, and I think you're absolutely right. There's no one, one of the things I said was there's no one size fits all advertising.
Right.
You know, again, we're on the Jersey Shore. Memorial Day just happened last week. The place is nuts. There's other places that are in New Jersey and elsewhere that are very
Right.
slow right now. So
Mhm.
everything depends on that local market. And you asked me earlier about our franchise system. That's what we want in our franchise system is people that know boots on the ground in their local territory because they're going to be able to help a client better than somebody that's doing it from a distance.
Yeah, well, I end up getting a lot of clients that come out of a situation like they find somebody online in India or somewhere, and they're just, it's not what somebody should do. I mean, ideally, if you want somebody who's in your neighborhood who understands your market and understands how to market you, and that's the key, is they understand your
Absolutely.
business well enough to be able to market it and give you a return on your ad spend. That's the key to the show. Is you have to get a return on your investment. And I find a lot of small businesses are very short fused that if they don't get a response, in the first 2 weeks, they're very nervous. But advertising takes time to build, and it's not going to happen out of the
I
box.
couldn't agree with you more. I tell people up front, like, you need 3 to 6 months to get things going. And again, on SEO, you can't get into it.
No,
You're
SEO
not
is a
gonna
slow
break
burn.
into it that quick. And if someone tells you that they can guarantee you in 30 days, you got to think about also what's that guarantee worth? The guarantee is as good as the person who offered it to you.
That's true.
So when I kind of chuckle at some of those, and again, I never want somebody to make a bad decision, but I want them to think about that decision. You
Yeah.
don't know the person; you got some random offer. They're guaranteeing this. How good is that going
I'll
to
tell you a
be?
story. I had a
Yeah.
guy call me up. He wanted to do some marketing, and he says, the only thing I'm doing now is SEO." So we ran a report, and he was paying $2,000 a month for SEO for the past 3 years, and we came back with our report. There was zero SEO. So somebody was ripping him off,
Hmm.
telling him they're doing the SEO, and the reality was that he wasn't. So a lot of advertising is finding an agency that's above board and is going to work with you and make sure that you're successful in your marketing plan. I mean, there's a lot of scammers out there today. Got to be
Totally.
careful.
I hate that. I absolutely hate that because again, I think that people don't know and they want to believe that it's going to be great. But on the other side is like they just don't know.
Well, I don't know how you do it, but when we bill people, I use their credit cards, and they get billed directly. So there's no, question about where the dollars are going, and it's a better program for the clients because they see exactly what they're spending, and we're meeting their budgets, and it's just a simpler way to do the billing, and it keeps everybody honest. So that's one thing we do. I don't know if you do it that way, but I find that clients like that because they see every penny coming into what they're spending on their credit card and bill every month.
We probably have about 80% the way that you're talking about, and there's 20% that do it where we process. And again, those are people over the years where we've had issues with credit cards going through.
Yeah,
And then what happened was one time somebody's credit card failed for like a month at Meta, and they were like, "Well, why did you take a management fee?" I said, "Well, my management fee is based on the assumption that it works." Um,
right.
and then so at the time we just said, so like there's some legacy customers that we have that we do it still for from that, but like now going forward, we try to just put their card on Meta and Google, and then the management fee or the consulting fee that they're paying to us, we process on our own. Just because again, I do like the cleaner. Although yesterday somebody says to me, when you can you send us an invoice with all the charges from Facebook, and it's like, oh, that's just a pain in the butt now, like because
Yeah, they bill
Facebook
you every day
they
sometimes.
and what they charge the most random things. Like there's some people we have on like where they get an automatic hit of X amount of dollars, but then there's other people, and then towards the end of the month, I feel like they just kind of clean up some balances. So it's just it's that's like a part time job is doing all their billings.
Right. Well, I'm doing ACHs now. You
Yeah,
know.
we moved to the ACH for a number of our clients. It's just they're not all there yet, but so like the idea is that it will be better and that you pay them once a month and voila.
Well,
But
I always recommend to the clients if they're going to use a credit card or ACH, they should have a separate account for each for their advertising.
yeah,
That way, it comes into a statement every month for the credit card or the ACE or from the bank account, and you can see every penny, and it's organized and it's dated,
yeah,
and it's a lot simpler than just saying to your agency, "Here, I'm going to spend $3,000, $5,000, just." Here's the money. It's hard to track if you're a
yeah.
client.
So, and I think that you're right that it makes for an easier conversation with the client because they could see it. It comes out, hey, it just so I like that. I like that too. Um, so when you look at like where you've been and where you're going, where are you heading? Like where are you headed now? Now that you have the marketing company, you've done 50 businesses. Where do you see yourself going in the next 3 to 5 years?
Well, I'm doing a lot of keynote speaking now, and I
Okay.
do some. I'm a contributing author to a couple of publications. One is in your neck of the wood. It's uh, Total Food. Wait a minute. It's a restaurant publication, Total Food Service. And there's another one called Today's Restaurant News. I send them an article every month, and
Okay.
they run them depending on the subject. It's more restaurant and franchise concept kind of publications, both of them. But I spoke at the New York Restaurant Show. I've been speaking at different engagements on different marketing industries. So I do a lot of that. Mainly because I feel like I want to help people because I think that so many people are afraid of advertising. They don't know enough about it and they go about it the wrong way. So I try to help people if they're my clients or not.
Sure.
And to your people that are watching this podcast, feel free to call me if you have any questions. And I have no problem talking to you and trying to help anybody who's got some questions about marketing and advertising.
Awesome. That's great. So that's a great segue. So if for people that are interested, as we wrap up, this was a great chat today. as where should people be directed to find you? If it's online, on your social, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Well, the website is zivzo.com. Z is in zebra, I is in igloo, V is in Victor, Z is in zebra, Owen as in O'Hara. Um, you can always find us there, or you can call me directly, 301-801-5476. My email is ben@zivzo.com. The website is zivzo.com.
Awesome. Well, this was great, Ben. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for telling your story. It's exciting to hear somebody that's owned over 50 businesses over the years, and I wish you continued success in the marketing game now.
Well, back at you, Tom. All the
Thank you.
success in the world to you too, and I appreciate being on your podcast.
I appreciate you. Have a great day, and we'll talk soon. Thank you.
Thank you.